conversation with character, to reflect on my past and present, aware of character defects.
I'm sorry.
The passion, the power, the purpose of unwoven recovery, unity, service, 1 year token.
The most prestigious network in the land.
This is Karikter asked it. You already know Karikter did it. I'm here with DJ Tygga Ty, bro. Tell us about yourself. What do you do?
What's going on, people? If you don't know, you need to know. DJ Tygga Ty with 2 G's, so that's DJ Tygga. And I'm here sitting with my guy who I met through Instagram, right?
Hell
and
yeah.
Social media is definitely one of those places that you should socialize with other people in a proper manner, because it can, turn to something nice like this right here. I am a radio personality / disc jockey that does clubs, corporate events. I do a lot of radio. I travel a lot. I've been a tour DJ for many artists, and I'm just here doing my purpose, which is music.
Hell yeah, bro. And you killing it. Like, you're doing big things.
Appreciate that.
You're from New York?
I'm actually from Florida.
Okay.
And then I migrated over to New York, upstate New York to be specific. So like Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse area. But I'm considered a New Yorker due to my life experiences. So I have kids here, went to school here, but I travel a lot. So I can't really pinpoint exactly where I'm from. I've been exposed to so many different locations.
That sounds like a good problem to have, man.
Yeah.
When did you leave Florida?
So I left Florida like around 5 or 6, and then I came up to New York, and then I was back and forth from New York to Florida, and then I pretty much built my name / again have my life experiences more so in New York, and then it was just pretty much I was here. But I still travel back and forth, but I'm morely in New York.
Okay, so what were you doing? Like, what was your childhood like, going back and forth, Florida, New York, and then, I mean, how'd you end up getting into the music scene?
Back and forth at a young age. It's a lot of experiences that I'm glad that it encountered. Like the time frame, like a lot of people, I'm not so sure if everybody else does this, but when I take trips, right, a lot of times an album is like 60 minutes or a song is like 2 minutes 30 seconds. So I normally like measure time based off of a song. Okay, it's gonna take me 37 songs to get from Rochester to Buffalo, or okay, it's gonna take me 6 albums and 3 songs to get from Rochester to Brooklyn or something like that. So stuff like that kind of helped me as a young age, traveling a lot to kind of get my mind off of, okay, I'm gonna be in this car for a while with my siblings, or okay, well, what can I do to occupy myself to kind of get from one place to another without going crazy? Because some people have taking these trips, like even on a plane, like you sit in this one spot for 3, 4, 5 hours. You got to figure out how to occupy yourself. So to answer your second question, the way I found myself into music, it was kind of a punishment, but it turned into a career. I was a very aggressive individual, so I did a lot of graffiti growing up in the art, stuff like that. I was into fashion, so I've always experimented with different type of styles of how I dress, and also I used to have to wear hand-me-downs when I was younger. So a lot of the stuff that I had to put together was based off of whatever my mom and dad could get me, plus whatever I came up with from cousins or older relatives and stuff. I'm actually the oldest out of 3, so I had to figure it out, and that's where a lot of my music inspiration came from, because I would see people like Lenny Kravitz. I would see like a lot of like rock stars, different type of styles. So that just turned into music to where now it became a career, because I used to go to school and I used to get into trouble a lot in school, from getting into fights, getting into arguments about stuff. And then my dad, he used to own a club in Rochester, and he made me become a bar back. So a bar back is basically where you stand behind the bar and you're getting like the well drinks for the bartenders. You clean up, throw up, throwing cups away, you sweeping shit up, cleaning out the bathroom. It's like a club janitor, so to speak.
Right.
At a young age, I was probably like maybe 15, 16, probably a little less than that. And then I remember, I don't know, it was like a slow night, and I was standing there, and I was standing next to a DJ, and I watched him do a couple things, and I was like, that's kind of cool. And next thing you know, I ended up saving some money up, and here I am now. Turntables and music and stuff.
Hell yeah, man. How old are you?
31. Just turned 31 last month.
Okay. Happy belated birthday.
Appreciate that.
What'd you do after high school?
After high school, I went straight to college. So I went to a what is it called? It's a university, but I think it's like a SUNY or something like that. Forgot what it's called. But I went to a SUNY Brockport, and I studied journalism and broadcasting, and then that turned into learning more about radio, learning more about the fundamentals of how production works as far as the music scene goes and as far as it correlates with television. And then it kind of landed me into my radio personality gig that I'm into now.
And tell me about the radio gig that you're doing now. It's a pretty big deal what you're doing.
Yeah. So I work on an FM station that's ran by two of the big independent A&Rs in the industry. One of them is Lester Pace. He's the senior vice president of Rock Nation. It's one of the biggest management companies in the industry right now. And another one named is Manny Bell. I think this is his last name. He used to work for Atlantic for a long time. He worked at Interscope. So he's like, they're giants in the industry. But I landed that gig fresh out of college, pretty much my senior year, and interned maybe like for like a month or two. And it became from me working on the weekends, putting in pre-recorded mixes, to then I got a nighttime slot and I work Monday through Friday and then weekends too. And I do programming, imaging, all sorts of, make commercials, all that kind of stuff. Pretty much everything I learned in college, I'm doing now in my career.
And now you have a primetime slot, is that correct?
Yeah, prime time. So prime time is 7 to midnight. Yep, Monday through Friday, FM station.
What was it like when you first got on the radio? When you were just starting off at nights? Did you have the personality that you use now for the show? Did it take a long time to develop?
Definitely not, man. And that was something that I shout out to my manager Josh Mayer. He is a guru. I would say he has really shaped me into kind of the radio personality I am today, more so because of the fact that I be having so much on my plate. So when I finally got the gig to have a primetime slot, I literally had to figure everything out on my own, like how to format my show, how to get, drops and interviews from different artists. Because like in radio, people think radio is just like, okay, everything's handed to you. And it's like, nah, you still have to grind for everything. You got to reach out to some of these artists. You got to build the relationships. You got to get cool with the management. Then you got to try to find time between your schedule and the other person's schedule to get interviews and all that kind of stuff. Everybody has different personalities, and it's a lot. But yeah, it took me a while. I've been on radio for about 7 years now, and I came from the clubs, so learning to migrate from being in front of an audience that you can see and see them react to certain songs, to then having to be like, okay, I'm on radio and I'm not playing for 300 people, I'm playing for 3,000 people, right, 30,000 people. I got to know how to cater to everybody and not oversaturate, cut the records too short, stuff like that. Keep up to date with the music because everything changes. Like I was talking to somebody the other day about how in the 90s it was like boom bop rap all over radio. Now it's like everything has changed over the years. So it's like, sheesh. So that kind of helped me change my my personality on radio too. Like things to talk about, different slangs, and keeping up with all that kind of stuff.
I'd imagine it's really difficult because you don't get like the immediate reaction of the crowd, of the listeners. You gotta just hope it's working and then see what people say online the next day type shit.
Yeah, that and the phone lines. Phone lines be going crazy. Sometimes you get the phone lines like, bro, you suck. Or you might get the phone call like, bro, you talking too much. And they be like, I only said 3 things. Or sometimes you get the hey, can you play this song? And it's like, I'm gonna play that song. Like what? Like, but it's like working in radio is like working at a call center, at the club, and being inside of a record store at the same time.
Oh God, that sounds stressful, bro.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I be telling people, if you want to try to do my job for a day, if you could last one shift doing my job, I'll give you $1,000. I'll give you $1,000 cash. And most people cannot maintain it because it's like once you clock in, pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, I feel you, bro.
Crazy.
I feel you, man. What have been the biggest accomplishments that you've achieved?
I would say radio is one.
Sure.
Radio is one. My next one, I would say my next accomplishment was my first time overseas. I got to perform in front of, I think it was like 70, 80,000 people in Brazil.
Shit. How did that happen?
So I used to work, well, I technically used to work for, I still work for a company called Artist Auditions. And what they do is they put local artists on stages and on tours with big artists as openers. So I landed as an opener for Ja Rule. And I went to Brazil for like 3 dates. Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, and I forgot the other one. And I met a girl named Azealia Banks. She was like a big rapper.
Yeah,
I think she's still a big rapper. Yeah. And I built relationships with her, became her tour DJ for her United States tour, and did all those shows. And then ended up meeting management for Tygga, the rapper from Young Money. And they ended up having some shows in Brazil. So I ended up following them over there, ended up being the opening DJ for him. And it kind of threw me off because they wanted me to change my name.
I was thinking that.
Like, I changed my name. Yeah. And then there was another opener that I had to basically play the opener's music. And I had to play like music before the opener got on and stuff. And it was like this thing called Planet Day Brazil. I think it's like a big Brazilian festival happens every year. He was one of the headliners. And it was crazy. Like 70,000 people. It was crazy.
Man, I bet you had some good times in Brazil.
Oh man, it's what I would say is if you're ever going to go to a different country, do your research. Because some of the things that may fly in the United States of America does not fly in other countries.
Like what?
Even just like one thing in particular that I learned is the phone plugs. So here we got the 2 prongs that you plug into the wall. Over there, it's like an adapter piece. Yeah. So my first time in Brazil, fresh off the plane, my phone had 7%, and I was waiting for my guide to get off the plane, and my phone died, and I didn't know what they spoke language-wise. They speak Portuguese over there,
right?
But it's close to Spanish, so I can speak a little bit of Spanish, but it's just like different words. Like some words mean the same thing, and some words don't, or they're pronounced differently. So imagine going to another country for your first time, and your phone's dead, and you're waiting for someone else to get off the plane. So you can't even. I don't know. And I pulled my phone charger out to go plug it into the wall, and I'm looking like an idiot because I'm literally trying to figure out how to plug an American plug into a Brazilian outlet. The lady was just like staring at me, and then she came to try to help me, and she started speaking to me in Portuguese, and I'm speaking back to her in Spanish, and she's like, "Bro, what are you saying?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I gotta do research moving forward." Like, it was bad.
What a disaster, bro. What a disaster.
Yeah.
What have been the biggest obstacles?
I think my manager can definitely vouch for this. Stay in the course. Like, I really preach a lot about staying the course. A lot of times as I consider myself an entertainer, not just a DJ, not just an artist, not just a producer. I consider myself an entertainer. So when you're in the entertainment world, you're exposed to so many different things, like nudity, drugs, alcohol, challenges with faith, financial situations. Like, I remember one time I almost went broke trying to keep up with, the trends of like different clothing brands, different lifestyles. Like, I don't do any drugs or anything like that, but it was like, having kids and then having to come home tired as hell, and your kids don't care about you being tired. They want to know, hey, Dad, can we go to the park? Hey, can we go and have fun and do this and the third? It's like, it's not easy to keep the balance. So sometimes you can find yourself falling into depression. You can find yourself falling into wanting to commit suicide. It's a lot of mental wear and tear. So staying the course is one of the main things that I preach to everybody who ever asks me, like, what are some of your obstacles or what are some of the things you face? And I said, stay in the course, because you feel like you'll be on top, like, oh, I'm doing everything right. And then you'll turn around and be like, oh, I didn't do that, or I forgot to do this, or you got everything that you want and you still feel empty. because maybe, you know, you had that one person that you were doing it for. Like, God forbid, like I had a friend of mine who had a daughter. He was doing it for his daughter. His daughter passed away from a health disease, and his mind went everywhere because his main focus was doing it for his daughter. So once your main focus is gone, it's like you get lost.
Yeah.
You get lost. So you have to stay the course with everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
What's your dream, or are you living it right now? Because I kind of feel like you might be kind of living it right now.
I would say I am living it now. My dream was always to get on as how to explain it. More so my dream was to figure out what my purpose was. And every day that I wake up, I ask myself, is this really my purpose? Because someday, like I said, some days trying to stay the course is very hard. So I had to pick up new hobbies. Like I collect Pokemon cards since I was a kid, you know, so it helps me get away from having to listen to music. Because when I listen to music, I feel like I'm working. Yeah. So like a lot of times I'm sitting in silence, or I'm watching movies. Like I said, collecting Pokemon cards, going to different conventions with my kids, things like that. So with me, I feel like a lot of times we have to ask ourselves, what was our main dream? What was our main goal? And once you figure that out, then you can ask yourself, am I living my dream? Am I living my goal? Am I fulfilling my purpose on this earth? And I feel like right now I am. I feel like everything that I was supposed to do, I've been doing. So it's like, yeah, this is like that chapter in life where it's like, okay, it makes sense. But tomorrow might be different. Might be like, I don't want to do radio no more. What's next? What's my dream now? It might change. But as of right now, so far, yeah.
What could you see yourself doing other than radio?
With the way that technology has shifted everything, like I'm a 90s kid. So when I was younger, I wanted to be a veterinarian. So I found myself, I've had every animal that you could think of as a pet. Snakes, scorpions, fish, lizard, all sorts of stuff. But after I realized you had to go to school the same amount of time as a veterinarian that you do for a doctor, I was like,
wait, for real?
Yeah, you got to learn all the different bones and medicines that different animals need, all that stuff.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
It's a lot of different types. It's an animal doctor.
I mean, I guess it makes sense because there's a lot more variations in different animals than there are people, you know?
Yeah. And then you have to think about it too. Like some people are veterinarians for a zoo, and then some are veterinarians for like an actual animal hospital, and then some are veterinarians based off of like, you know, scientific experiments type of stuff. I wanted to be a veterinarian for a zoo where I can go, you know, visit the zoo, different zoos across the country and help the animals in the zoo. But then I realized that when you do that, I wouldn't be able to have a family the way that I would because I would be traveling a lot, which is what I do now. So it's like, damn, I might as well have been a veterinarian.
If you could trade places with anybody for one day, who would it be?
My kids.
Good answer.
My kids. I think about it all the time that when you're younger and you're the oldest out of the siblings, you're forced to grow up a little bit faster than everybody else. So it's kind of like, I don't want to say this in a disrespectful manner, and I don't want people to like watch this interview to like try to judge me based off of this, but I kind of feel how people discredited Michael Jackson. You know how when he was saying he didn't get a chance to really enjoy his childhood, you know, he was
absolutely
a star at an early age. That really plays a role in many people's lives. I seen an interview recently about the girl who played she was in like one of the some of the main Pepsi commercials back in the day. Little young girl, I can't remember her name. Her brother is an actor too. I can't remember her name. I just seen an interview with her, but long story short, she left the industry at a certain age because she talked about how, you know, she didn't get a chance to, you know, go to college. She didn't get a chance to really experience her childhood. So for me, I would switch spots with my kids because being the oldest of the siblings and also, you know, going into the music industry, I had to grow up a lot faster and learn things a lot faster and pick up on things faster versus now the kids can kind of really enjoy themselves. And if I could switch places, I would love being able to just go outside and get grass stains and just enjoy life and play some more video games without having to be like, oh, I got to do this, that, and the third, you know, and it's like you kind of knew what to expect. Like, okay, be in the house by 7, video games till 9, go to bed, wake up, go to school, you got lunch. Now it's like, as an adult, you'd be like, I hate opening up the mailbox. You get a bill, or I might get something that's gonna be like, yo, what the hell? Kids don't got to deal with none of that. So it's like, I would trade places with them for maybe like a day or two and not to go back to, like, reality.
No doubt, bro. I love that answer. That's a great answer. What's the best compliment that you've ever received?
Best compliment. You inspired me. Yeah, man. When you go through those mental breakdowns and you're able, like, I wear my heart on my sleeve. A lot of people tell me that's unprofessional, but then I also this is the question that I do want to ask when I ever get like, if I ever get like to the point where I can meet like a Chris Brown. I haven't met a Chris Brown yet, or like a Rihanna. I want to ask them, like, when you're making this music, right, and this music is based off of life experiences, you have thousands of fans who have to also keep in mind that some of this stuff that you're singing about and writing about and performing about is stuff that really happens every day. You know, like, people are addicted to drugs, people get mentally abused or physically abused or raped or all this kind of stuff, right? When you're making this music, you have to sing these songs that are become hit songs every single night, you know? How do you motivate people that may come to you and say, yo, that song inspired me, that song kept me alive, that song stopped me from killing myself, that song stopped me from going off the edge or whatever? Because I've had people come to me and say that, like, yo, I listen to you on the radio all the time, and, you know, some of the stuff you talk about during your mixes and during your segments, it's kept me going every day. Wow. Like, when I stay the course, it's like, it's hard to tell somebody, you know, stay the course when I myself sometimes fall short of staying the course. It makes me feel like a hypocrite, you know? But then it's like you get those compliments like, hey, listen, I heard you last Tuesday and you said, you know, stay the course, da-da-da-da. I needed to hear that. Like, it makes me feel good. Like, okay, at least I know that there's somebody out there that needed to hear that stay the course thing. So
that's an incredible feeling,
yeah.
What's something that always makes you laugh?
Accents. Different accents, man. Like I said, with the way technology has changed, there's so many different outlets that people are exposed to music, exposed to television, right? So as you're getting exposed to different television, different music, you find yourself picking up on people's different, like, ways of saying things. Like, my daughter, she watches Bluey. So Bluey has this, like, British accent, so she'll be like, Daddy, and I'll be like looking at her like, you're not from Britain. Like, why are you talking like that? Or like me, I find myself saying bruv because I watch the show Top Boy. So, you know, they say bruv upon the ends and stuff like that. So sometimes I might find myself saying those kind of things just because at that time in, let's say, my life or that time of the week, I'm watching or I'm listening to certain things. So I find myself laughing because some people say like pop instead of soda. And I'm like, what? Like, we start laughing about it. Or, you know, it might be like a different word that might mean something else. Like I said, when I went to Brazil, Portuguese and Spanish is pretty much really similar.
Right.
But certain words, they don't mean the same thing. And I said it one time and I was started laughing like, and the lady was like, where are you from? What's your accent's so deep? And I'm just like, my accent is deep? And they consider New York accents deep, and then down south accents are deep. And I'll just be laughing at sometimes the way people say stuff. So, yeah. I
interviewed this one guy, and he grew up in the Caribbean, and he moved to Canada. And he has this like island accent, but he says like A still. And it's the funniest dynamic, bro. Like, it was amazing. Yeah. I love his accent, for real.
Because you mix them together to a point where you're trying to still keep your roots and your essence, but then you also have to like kind of sort of fit in where you're at.
Absolutely. So, you know, when in Rome.
Yeah, you're like, what? You start laughing. You'll laugh because you'll be like, what did you just say? And they just be like, I don't know. Or they'll like laugh it off with you. Sometimes I don't know. It's one of those things.
What's the worst piece of advice you ever got?
I wouldn't do that if I was you.
Hell yeah.
You can find yourself being trapped in an element of someone else's fears and insecurities based off of somebody saying that to you. Like I had someone tell me I shouldn't be a Zoya Banks' tour DJ. I wouldn't do that if I was you. And I asked them why. They said because she's been a lot a lot of artists don't like her. She's been blackballed, blah 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 blah. And I was like, but she's a multi Grammy award winning artist type vibe. Like she has the credentials to take me across not only the United States but other countries. And if I had to listen to them, I would have been stuck. But then I've listened to somebody one time that said that to me. I wouldn't do that if I was you. And then I missed out on a whole opportunity off from listening to them because at one point in time they were afraid to do exactly what I was trying to do. So it was like, nope, I'll never want to hear that again.
You got anything coming up you want to talk about?
Anything coming up? 2024, I am going to relaunch a lot of what you could say nostalgic vibes in how I incorporate my promoting my brand. So a lot of times we look at everybody has phones, everybody's on the internet, everybody's using different apps and technology and blah blah blah. But then you still have those people that still have to come outside. They don't have the access to social media. They don't have the access to different apps. So I'm gonna find myself doing some of the things that I was doing back before technology kind of took over. So a lot of like face-to-face interactions as much as I can, a lot of meet and greets, a lot of different artists that I'm gonna be working with to help them keep themselves relevant. I'm gonna be reviving a lot of people's careers. I'm saying that humbly because there's a lot of people that have been sitting for a while that people forgot about, that have or need, I would say, deserve their flowers.
Namely, who connected me with you, bro? Blaze Hunter, man. People sleeping on Blaze Hunter.
Yeah, me and Blaze, it made story. Quick story about him. I met Blaze when he came to a event that I'm actually doing this weekend. So it's called a tap conference. We've been doing it for about 3-4 years now. I met Blaze through DJ Epps, who's also on Rock with DJ for Rock the Bells, and he plays out there in Florida. So when I met Epps, I was so like I can't say mind blown, but I was like, wow, like he's in the same kind of element that I'm in. Like I'm not too far from him. He's done more than I have, but I'm not too far from getting my goals and things achieved.
Y'all swimming in the same pool, bro.
Yeah, so it was like when I met Blaze, it was based off of me just having a conversation with Epps, and then Blaze was standing there. We got to talking, got to chatting, and then it was like some of the ideas that he was giving me was like, wow, like if I had known this information 6 months ago, a year ago, I would be a lot farther in my career. And now it's like even this interview right now, it's like when he said it, I was like, sure, of course. But the old me would have been like, oh nah, you gotta pay me for an interview, or you gotta talk to my manager and stuff like that. Now I'm more so like, I'm back to getting to this mindset of like, okay, yeah, let's talk, and I'll talk with you. But when it comes down to certain like borders of business, now I gotta relate you to my guy Josh, my manager, because like what I did hate, this is something again that I learned from Blaze, was like a lot of people, they don't like to deal with management unless it's a quick one and done. You have to get the right manager, because so many people will feel entitled to have a full-blown conversation with you, and if you rub them off the wrong way, it'll turn into something that it didn't need to turn into. So it could be like, hey, I just want to get a picture with you, and it's like it takes 2 seconds to take a picture. But now if I'm in the bathroom taking a piss and you like, hey, can I get a picture with you? It's like, bro, can you at least let me finish using the bathroom and wash my hands? I'm gonna give you a picture, but like, I'm not about to do it right here. Or it's in a conversation where it's like, hey, I want to book you for a show. I want to book you for an interview. And then I'm like, okay, sure, no problem. Let's make it happen. Now, I'm going to say that to you, but as far as getting it on my schedule, you got to talk to my manager, because he literally makes my schedule every week. So it's like, it's not trying to be funny, but some people really take that to offense. Like, oh, you send it to your manager and yada, yada, yada. And like I said, Blaze really helped me learn that, because when I was talking to Epps, it was like, I was asking him questions and he's giving me answers, but then he's also like, yo, holla at my manager. And then Blaze is like, don't take it personal, bro. You know, that's just how the business goes. And I was like, wow. So I definitely want to shout out Blaze Hunter, because he don't know that he did that, but he did it unconsciously.
That's what he does, bro. Blaze Hunter's good peoples. Yeah.
So that's definitely good, man. But Any other questions you got to ask me? Anything else you want to know? Open to it.
Before we end it, is there any kind of sentiment or life lesson that you would like to leave anybody watching with?
For all those out there watching that's going to watch this interview, if you do watch this interview, and if I am here or if I'm not here, past and gone, or I'm bigger than where I am now, which I hope to be. Shout out to Josh Mayer, Blade, and yourself, right? I hope that you find your purpose, and whatever you feel your purpose is, stay the course. All right, because you're going to deal with the good, the bad, and the ugly. And as you're dealing with those things, you're going to start questioning yourself, and you're going to ask yourself, is it worth it? I should give up, or man, this is the most stupidest idea. Or you might be like, oh, this is the right choice for me. This is what I needed to do. Okay, I'm doing what I got to do. And everything is not always going to be like rainbows and sunshine. You're going to get those days you got to stand in the rain, and you got to stand in the rain by yourself. Or sometimes you might stand in the rain, and somebody might walk over there with you and hand you an umbrella. Y'all stand under there together. Or you might have to go get you a rain jacket and go through rain for 6, 7, 8 years until you finally get that sunshine. So the point that I'm getting at, and the bottom line is, stay the course, good, the bad, and the ugly, because everything is supposed to happen the way it's supposed to, and enjoy all of it. Enjoy all of it. The negative stuff, when you at rock bottom and you're like, man, I don't know how I'm going to eat tomorrow, enjoy it, because it's going to make you appreciate that day when you get that big lump sum of money or food, or that girl you've been crushing on, or that job you've been working for. It's going all feel good at the end. So just enjoy every moment of your journey while you're here, because we're just visitors. You know that, right? We're just visitors in this life that we're living. We're just visitors.
I love that, bro. That's facts, man. Thank you so much for your time, bro. This has been Character Asset with DJ Tygga Ty. Follow him up, hit him up. I'll see y'all next time. Peace up.
The most prestigious network in the land, the Signature Series Network.